welcome back to the Autocar show, and our cup runneth over with Auto Expo action. And we are jumping in now at the pavilion of the Japanese giant Honda, and it's to meet one of their upcoming stars. What we've got here is Honda's entry into the urban MPV space. This is called the Mobilio. This is basically a really stretched in that sense, platform of the Honda Amaze, or what started off for that matter as the Brio. But this has had extensive change. As you can see, it's much longer, taller, and it really has added to the roominess inside of this car. Now, since the Mobilio shares this platform with the Brio and Amaze, the dashboard is also shared. Looks very simple, basic in that sense, but Honda have tried to lift things up a bit with the silver garnish here. And well, that aside, there's a touchscreen music system here, and sadly though, there's still no climate control on offer. Now, this cabin does feel spacious. One of the reasons for that are these big windows here. The window line also is kinked to increase that sense of spaciousness. This is essentially a stretched Amaze platform or the Brio platform. So Honda's done a fantastic job, liberated more room out of it. And well, knee room, as you can see, there's quite a good amount of knee room here, and it adds to the flexibility of the car because you have a sliding middle row of seats. So you can push them forward, which liberates more room for the third row of seats. Now, the third row, the Mobilio, isn't bad at all when it comes to space. Knee room is quite decent, headroom is nice, and well, two people abreast shouldn't be a problem. But the issue will be the seats themselves. They're set quite low, so there's no under-thigh support to speak of. You're sitting quite knees up. So for adults, for long distances, the third row is a bit of a no-no. Boot space is also quite healthy. It's quite clear that the Mobilio is going to be a serious Ertiga rival, even in terms of its pricing. Honda will offer the Mobilio with a petrol, which is likely to be the 1.5 litre iVTEC petrol, and of course the 1.5 litre iD-Tech diesel. We expect the Mobilio to go on sale towards Diwali 2014. Honda also had the new Jazz on display. This spacious and practical hatchback will also be coming to India, but we will have to wait a bit. However, that wait should be worth it. I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with the outgoing Jazz. It was a fantastic car, but the price that it initially came at was just too high. I know Honda did cut the price later, but then the Jazz was gone too soon. But the next generation Jazz should hit it right on the spot. That's because this all-new Jazz is going to be super spacious, but at the same time, since it shares this platform with the Honda City and it's got a lot of local content now here in India, the price should be really sweet too. And another car that is slated to be manufactured in India is the Range Rover Evoque. At the Auto Expo, the facelifted SUV was there with its new 9-speed gearbox. But the star there was this long wheelbase Range Rover, which actually didn't seem all that long.
This particular design is we've been managed to stretch it to get that extra accommodation in the rear without it having a detrimental effect on the overall volume of proportions. In the rear compartment, this is about the occupant been able to extend their legs further, more inclination on the back seat, more room to do work in there if you want to use it as an office on wheels, which this vehicle can be.
Despite adding all that length, Jerry discounts one possibility.
The Range Rover is the flagship, and it really is about exclusivity, and the customers that buy this vehicle want to feel like they're in something exclusive. They don't want extra seats in it. If you want a 5+2 or you want an optimised 7-seat, you choose one of the other vehicles within our range. Never on a Range Rover 7 seats.
The Range Rover long wheelbase range starts at a princely 2.1 crores and goes up to 2.63 crores. But if you would like to spend your crores on something less leisurely, then at the other side of the hall there was this. No doubt about it, the F-Type Coupe, incredibly gorgeous. And then there's the fact that it's stiffer, lighter, and it has an R Coupe version, which means the F-Type Coupe is really the de facto F-Type to have. In fact, Jaguar's design director Ian Callum agreed with me completely.
This one, absolutely every time. From a design point of view, the Coupes are much more handsome cars.
So how different is the Coupe from the convertible in terms of design?
Well, from the convertible, the whole front end, the doors are the same, clearly, and the screen is actually the same as well. The rear bumper is actually the same, and so are the tail lamps. But the deck lid is slightly higher because we couldn't make the panel as tight, as low as a convertible as a monoside. That's a monoside. It's a very complicated piece of tooling. The rear line, the rear haunch at the back is slightly higher, but millimetres, not a lot. So overall, it's pretty much the same car. It just has a roof on it.
So what can we expect next from Jaguar?
We're about to bring a new small car out sometime in the next 12 months. We'll have performance variants of that car as well. So smaller car, more performance, it all becomes very exciting indeed.
But talking of baby luxury cars, take a look at this. Audi's hugely awaited compact saloon, the A3, has been unveiled at the Auto Expo. It hasn't been launched yet, so we do not have prices, but it will slot in obviously under the A4 when it is launched around the middle of 2014. And when it is launched, it will come with two engine options, the 1.8-litre petrol and the 2-litre diesel, but these will not be offered with Audi's iconic Autocar. Now on the interiors front, the cabin doesn't feel as lavish as we've come to expect from Audis in the recent past, but everything does feel very well built, and well, when you look at some design touches are really nice, like the aircon vents. Overall, the cabin itself feels snug. I'm pleasantly surprised with this backseat. For instance, you can see the knee room is really a lot more than what I expected, and headroom is pretty decent too. Audi also surprised everyone as they got in the cabriolet version of the A3. While it is sure to get people talking, the A3 Cabriolet will definitely be way more pricey than the regular A3 Saloon. Meanwhile, Mercedes had a rival to the A3 Saloon, the smoking hot CLA 45 AMG. It was really hogging a lot of the limelight, because powering this brute is a turbocharged 2-litre petrol engine producing 360 bhp. That means the CLA 45 AMG has the most powerful 4-cylinder engine in the world, yet is the most efficient in its class. After the AMG version, Mercedes will launch the more everyday versions of the CLA in 2014. Now Mercedes has pulled out a red-hot rabbit out of their hats. This is the GLA SUV going to go head-to-head with the likes of Audi's Q3 and BMW's X1. The launch of the car has been pulled back now. It is going to be launched in India in 2014, and you can expect it to come here first in the AMG, guys. You can expect this baby SUV to offer a great combination of urban comfort and a light bit of off-roading. While the AMG edition is sure to come with the 4-wheel drive, the more ordinary engines will only come with front-wheel drive. Meanwhile, at the BMW stall, this crossover was up for grabs. BMW launched their most practical 3 Series, that is the 3 Gran Turismo, at the Expo. It is priced at a roughly 5 lakh rupee premium over the regular 3. Which means this stretched 3 Series offers 5 Series levels of space at a much lower price tag. Also on display was the new X5, which for the first time was showcased with a 2-litre diesel motor in India. Expect this SUV to be launched in the second half of 2014. Also making a big splash at the Expo is the soon-to-be launched fire breather, the M6 Grand Coupe. Undoubtedly though, the star of the BMW stall was their hybrid supercar, the i8. The 257 bhp i8 is slated for a late 2014 launch and will be brought to India as a CBU. Only 7 or 8 of these futuristic cars will be available in India. That too at a price of 1.5 crores. Well, that finally wraps up our coverage of all the 4-wheeler action from the Auto Expo. But we've still got the 2-wheelers lined up. Stay tuned for that next week.